I want you to think about something with me for a second. Before there was light, before there was time, before there was anything at all, there was a word. That's how John opens his gospel. He writes, "In the beginning, the word already existed. The word was with God, and the word was God." Sit with that last part for a moment. The word was God. But what does that even mean? Here's a way in. Think about how a thought works inside you. Before you ever say anything out loud, an idea forms. Quiet, complete, fully yours. And then you reach for words to give it shape, to get it out of your head so someone else can actually receive it. The word John uses is logos, which is Greek, and it means two things at once: a thought and the expression of that thought, the reason and the word that carries it. So picture the Father holding one perfect thought, not 100 ideas, one, whole and complete. And that thought isn't a something, it's a someone, the Son. The writer of Hebrews puts it like this. He says the Son radiates God's own glory and expresses the very character of God. Think about sunlight. It pours out of the sun, but it was never once separate from it. That's the Son, showing us exactly who the Father is, while never being apart from him. Paul says the same thing to the Colossians. He calls Jesus the visible image of the invisible God, not created, not made, eternally poured out from the heart of God. Now, here's where it gets strange. Systematic theology states that God forever expresses and reveals himself to himself through the Word, through the Son. And honestly, that can sound a little off. Does God need to remind himself who he is? Of course not. God doesn't need anything. This was never about information. It's about relationship. See, God didn't become a father at some point in time. He has always been a father, which means there has always been a son. Remember, John said the word was with God, face to face before the beginning. Without the Son, the Father wouldn't even be a father. That's why Jesus could look at his disciples and say, "Anyone who has seen me has seen the Father." The Word isn't something God uses. The Word is who God is. A Father, forever pouring his life into his Son. But there's a third person we haven't talked about yet, and he's the hardest one to picture. We can imagine Jesus. He walked, he cried, he had a face. John says, the Word became human and made his home among us. No one has ever seen the Father, but in the Son, God stepped into skin we could actually see. The Spirit is different though. When he showed up at Pentecost, Luke could barely find the words for it. He writes, "Suddenly there was a sound from heaven like the roaring of a mighty windstorm, and it filled the house where they were sitting. Then what looked like flames or tongues of fire appeared and settled on each of them." Earlier, when Jesus came up out of the water at his baptism, Matthew says he saw the Spirit of God descending like a dove and settling on him. Wind, fire, a dove. All of it real, but none of it the whole picture, because the Spirit's job was never to stand in front of you. It was to live inside you. Jesus told his disciples, he lives with you now and later will be in you. Everything the Father gives, everything the Son secures, the Spirit carries it right into the center of who you are. Paul asked the Corinthians, almost stunned, "Don't you realize that the Spirit of God lives in you?" He's not a concept to figure out. He's a presence with you and in you. And maybe that's where the ache starts, because you can know all of this You can feel the weight of your sin and turn to prayer. You can trust that Christ already paid what you could never pay back. You can want to live like him, not to earn anything, but because it's already been earned for you. And still, some mornings, it just feels like just knowing the Father, the Son, the Spirit, all sitting up in your head, when what you really want is for it to reach your heart. If that's you right now, hear me, you are not failing. Even Paul prayed this over the church in Ephesus. He asked God that they would experience the love of Christ, though it is too great to understand fully. Experience it, not just understand it. He knew the exact gap you're feeling. And he didn't treat it like a problem. He treated it like the beginning of something. That distance between what you know and what you feel, it isn't proof that your faith is broken. It's the shape of a relationship that's still growing. You were never meant to feel the full weight of God all at once. He reveals himself slowly, gently. Paul told the Philippians, God, who began the good work within you, will continue his work until it is finally finished. You come to know a person over time. It works the same way with him. The answer was never more information. It's the same one who has been Father, Son, and Spirit since before the beginning, meeting you right now. Not just on the mountaintop, but in the ordinary, the quiet, the broken places, where he has always been and where he still is. In the beginning was the Word, and that Word still speaks.